joining the DCCFAR, oops, I just got it, DCCFAR's Research Awards 101 seminar. Today we're going to talk about, provide an overview of the DCCFAR and also share a little bit more about our research program awards. And before we get started with that, here's our agenda. We'll start with quick introductions, especially since we have a smaller group and we want to hear from you all. Then I'll move along through a few slides, sharing an overview of the DCCFAR, and most of the information here is on our website as well. So, and we'll be, of course, sharing that back to you all. So, no worries if I'm going too fast. Please feel free to stop me and ask any questions, and then we'll of course talk about the research award programs, and then have some time for discussion and questions before closing up at 4 p.m. So that all sounds good to everyone. We're going to start with some introductions. So I'll pull out my slides, that way we can see the Zoom room really quick, and I'll kick us off, and then I'll pass it on to our developmental core directors that are here and our CFAR colleagues, and then maybe we can popcorn it around. So first of all, my name is Lorena Segura, and I'm the DCCFAR's new senior program manager. And so in this role, I work with the developmental core in supporting and leading these research awards programs and our mentoring programs. It's great to see you all, see new faces and old faces as well. So I'll pass it on to Sylvia.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm so glad to have you join us and learn about our Pilot Awards program. I'm Sylvia Silver. I'm a professor in the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Tropical Medicine at GW, and I am one of the core directors for the developmental core and work with the core and with the CFAR members on mentoring.
Mark?
I'm Mark Burke. I'm an associate professor in physiology at Howard University. Again, one of the co-directors, and my area is neurodevelopment.
Great. Vivian?
Hi, everyone. My name is Vivian Kirkham, and I'm one of the core managers at the DCCFAR. So I help support Lorena with the research work program, but I also coordinate any core service requests from for the clinical and population sciences core, the basic sciences core, and the developmental core. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. So I actually see George, who just joined us. Maybe he can quickly introduce yourself, George. We're doing introductions.
Good afternoon, everyone. I logged into the wrong link. I was ending the epidemic. I was rushing for that conversation. I am the chair of the Community Partnership Council, and I'm on staff with the CFAR as your community coordinator. Great seeing everyone today.
Thank you, George. Thank you for joining. So now I'll open up the introductions to the group, and maybe if you can share your name, your institution, your research interest, and also if you're interested in the traditional or the transitioning program, that would be helpful as well. So I'll go through the list, and I'll start with Alex.
Thank you very much. My name is Alex Zestos, and I'm an associate professor of chemistry and neuroscience at American University in Washington, D.C. It's great to be here today. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. And I am interested in the transitioning and the transitional as well. I'd like to hear about both programs. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. I see Kim just joined us as well, and she's part of the developmental core leadership. Kim, do you mind just introducing yourself really quick? We're in the introduction stage.
Sorry, I was at another meeting that ran a little late, but I'm Kim Blankenship. I'm a professor of sociology at American University and also the Associate Dean of Research at American, and I'm one of the co-directors of the Developmental Core.
Thank you, Kim. So next on my list, I have Ben.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Liu. I'm a assistant director of microbiology at Children's National Hospital and also assistant professor at microbiology, immunology, and tropical medicine at GW. I'm pretty interested in the traditional pilot award. Nice to meet everyone here.
Thank you, Ben. And then I have Yuan, and my apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Yes, you pronounce good. Yes. Hello, everyone. I've been in the last, I think, when you introduced this palette award, 1 month ago, I think. Yes. I'm a adjunct lecturer at the biology department, Howard University, and also postdoc at the Center for Sickle Cell Disease. I'm interested in Pilot Award, and currently I'm working on the sickle cell disease whole genomic sequencing, and I'm interested in using, sickle cell disease and HIV data to do the machine learning strategies, try to predict the future HIV complications there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Jose?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jose Karma, ID physician here at GW. I'm the site PI for the DC cohort, and I'm just here to hear about the DC CFAR and what you all have to share. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. Thank you for joining. Kendall?
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. Great to see everyone and meet new faces. So I'm Kendall Moody. I'm an assistant professor in the School of Social Work at Howard University. My background is in chronic illness. Sickle cell disease is my sort of where I live, but I'm interested in more of the biopsychosocial implications of HIV, and I worked on a grant, and that really segued me into this field. So I'm interested in the traditional, but also anything else that I can learn from this presentation. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for joining. Larissa?
Hi, everyone. I apologize in advance that I can't turn on my video because I'm in the lab processing right now. I'm a research scientist here at the MITM department, working as a biospecimen lead scientist at the GW Biorepository and at the Clinical Immunology Lab, where I have been working under Dr. Silvers and Dr. Bethany's supervision. And I am interested in biospecimen science and mainly focused on liquid biopsies for HIV-related malignancies.
Thank you, Larissa. Let's see my list. It's moving around. Marie? Oh, I see she added something in the chat that there seems to be some background noise. But thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you can hear us clearly, but if not, this session is being recorded and we'll make sure to share it along. Mona?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's really exciting to be here. I think I might be the only person joining from University of Maryland. And I'm curious, actually, if University of Maryland faculty can apply for these awards. But I'm an associate professor in the School of Public Health. And I am a couple and family therapist by training. So my work is focused on traumatic stress, intimate partner violence, and mental health, and its intersection with HIV prevention and HIV care. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, Mona. We'll go over the eligibility criteria and all of that throughout the presentation. And then I believe last but not least is Wei.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Wei Li, assistant professor at Children's National Hospital. So my research focuses on computational biology and gene editing. I just joined the CFAR like a couple of months ago, probably because we just have a first publication on using CRISPR screens to study HIV latency in the science translational medicine. But yeah, I would like to hear more about this transition investigator awards. Thank you.
Thank you for joining. So I'm pretty sure I called on everyone with the exception of Provost Vuto, who just joined us. Tony, if you want to quickly introduce us, and then we'll jump into the slides.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tony Ruta, and I currently serve as the provost at Howard University. I'm also co-director of the developmental core with the CFAR. I'm a pharmacoepidemiologist by training, and much of my work has been in HIV treatment and prevention, particularly among older African Americans.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, so I'll bring back up my slides. And as mentioned at the top, I'm going to go over a few slides describing just a brief overview of the DC-CFAR. We will be providing the slides, and most of this information is on the website. So if I'm going through some of these slides a bit quicker, my apologies. I just want to be cautious of time and make sure we have enough time to answer these questions and have a bit of a discussion right afterwards. But please feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions. And for the core directors, please feel free to also chime in if you want to add in to anything else that is mentioned throughout the slides. So with that, we're going to start here. All right, let me just move this so I can see the slides. Okay, so here we have a map showing the different NIH-funded Center for AIDS Research across the US. And so at the time, there are currently 19 CFARs, and the main mission for these centers is to support a multidisciplinary environment that promotes basic and clinical, epidemiological, behavioral, and translational research in the prevention, detection, and treatment of HIV infection and AIDS. Sort of a mouthful, but you all get the sense. And so most clearly, we're going to be focusing on the DC CFAR, and we have the mission here following the NIH overall mission is to intensify a multi-institutional effort to promote and support research that contributes to ending the HIV epidemic in Washington, DC and beyond in partnership with government and community. Below, you'll have a list of our specific aims, and I won't read through those clearly as closely, but the main point, again, to support that mission, our focus is to really provide that scientific leadership and institutional infrastructure that can stimulate and support innovative research addressing the NIH high priority scientific areas. And we do so with the recruitment and development of early stage and new investigators. And also our big hallmark is to foster meaningful collaborations across different stakeholders, including academia, government, community, and clinical partners. So here we have the logos of our institutional partners. So at the top, we have our academic partners, so GW, Georgetown, Howard University, and American University. And then below, we have the VA, Children's, DC Health, Whitman Walker, and most recent, our newest institutional partner that just joined is Us Helping Us. So below, there's a couple of quick stats just to show a bit of more information about the DC-CFAR across the years. But at the moment, we have well over 275 current members. We've given out a large number of pilot awards, 79 most recently, and have also received a number of HIV awards and supplemental awards, and have recruited on over 134 new HIV investigators. So I will move to our org chart. And this is just to demonstrate how our CFAR is organized. So those blue boxes, the clear blue boxes demonstrates our advisory committees. So that includes our Community Partnership Council, which I'll go over in another slide, but we also have our Scientific Advisory Committee and Oversight Committee. And our executive committee, which I'll show you in a bit as well, that provides that leadership and oversight to the cores, which are the lower boxes, also in blue, that provide scientific services and other services. And I'll go over that as well in more in depth. And below, we have our scientific working groups and scientific interest groups. And I don't think I have slides on the working groups and interest groups, but these are mainly forums for investigators and community partners to really join in, collaborate in a number of initiatives, whether that's for collaborate in grant ideas, manuscripts, and such. And they're groups that usually meet on a monthly basis and that host seminars and activities and are open for our CFAR members to join. So if there are any focuses that call your attention, please feel free to email me and or even write in the chat, and I'll be happy to connect you with those groups as well. So here we have a little, I call the Facebook slide of our executive committee. And we have here the directors, and you all had the opportunity to meet most of our developmental core directors. And just to list off our major DCCFAR activities. So as mentioned, our main focus is to, of course, stimulate and support research in the NIH HIV research priority areas. We provide pilot awards and mentoring programs for early stage and new investigators, and that's what I'll be discussing in a few slides. We also provide core services, and that's whether that's lab, clinical, epi, biostats, or behavioral. We encourage and support the recruitment of HIV investigators to DC and support multi-institutional NIH grant applications. This is an NIH center, so we have to track these services and grants and publications. Another activities that we promote community engaged research. We host citywides and core and working group specific seminars and symposiums. And we, of course, disseminate all of this information through different methods, our website, we have social media accounts, and our weekly newsletter. And if you all don't receive those, please feel free to include your emails in the chat, and I'll be happy to add you to our listserv as well. So now I'm going to go over a bit more of information for each core. I'm just looking at the time to make sure how fast I go through these. But before doing so, I just wanted to check if there are any questions at this time or any other additions that the core directors might want to add before moving forward. And since I have the slides, I might not be able to see everyone, so feel free to just unmute and chime in. Okay, I'll move right along. Again, please feel free to stop me at any point with any questions. So in this slide here, we have our administrative core, and this core really provides that leadership and governance and administrative oversight and fiscal management across the DCCFAR. And this is where our director, Dr. Alan Greenberg, sits in conjunction with our newest co-director, Dr. Manya Magnus, and our newest administrative director as well, Brandy Robinson, who used to be in the position that I'm currently in. So I'm filling in big shoes. But and of course, you heard from Vivian, is our program assistant, and right now we're looking for a center associate. But this core, aside from providing that oversight, also provides additional support through collaborations and communications as well. All right. So here we have the developmental core. You all had a chance to meet the co-directors, but we also have here our director, Dr. Michael Bukrinsky. And the core mainly aims to promote and support innovative, collaborative, and multidisciplinary HIV research. and doing so through research award programs, micro grants, mentoring programs, and education and trainings. So I know this slide is a bit busy, but just to name our research awards that I'll describe a little further. We, of course, have our traditional pilot awards cycle, rapid responses awards, and those were in response to COVID and MPOX. We also hosted the Academic Community Partnership Award, and that was granted to a co-investigator teams of investigators and a community partner. And lastly, the Transitioning Investigator Awards, and that's for more established investigators. We also offer competitive smaller grants, and that's for our micro grants that are available to CFAR investigators, and that's to cover different core services or publication fees and travel, and that's for our pilot award and NIH supplement recipients mostly. We also have a mentoring program, and that's to support grants application and manuscript preparations. And lastly, we host a number of education and training opportunities, including grant writing workshops, research seminars. Most recently, we've been having the benchside to community seminars and shared seminars with Howard. Journal Club webinars. I believe there might be one coming up pretty soon. And our latest seminar series, which is the My Path to Independence in HIV Research. I'm pretty sure most of the recordings for these are on our website, so you're welcome to also visit that as well. Before I move along, do any of the core directors have anything else to add to this slide? Busy slide?
No, you've done a good job.
Thank you, Sylvia. All right. So just being a little bit cautious of time, but I'll share a bit more about the different cores as well and the services that they provide. So here we have our basic sciences core and their leadership. And this core mainly provides high impact laboratory services in different areas, and training opportunities as well, in seminars, series, as well as consultations for different grant applications and manuscript preparations. And so there's an extensive list of the different laboratory services that this core offers, and that's also on our website. And we also include a core services request form that you're able to request any of these lab services through. Next, we have our clinical and population sciences core, and we have here the pictures of our leadership for this core. And this one aims to provide comprehensive clinical, epi, and biostat research services, and that's whether it's consultations or supporting manuscript preparations and biostatistical analysis. This core also has access to different longitudinal HIV cohorts and can connect investigators to these resources and collaborations. And this core also hosts a monthly seminar, which they call their CPS core conversations. And I'm pretty sure there's one coming up, but if you're interested in learning more, again, the recordings are also on our website if you want to take a look. Lastly, we have our social and behavioral sciences core, and this core is focused on providing services, including peer review sessions, consultations, statistics analysis, focused on social and behavioral field. They also host a number of networking opportunities, not as recently in the in-person field as we're navigating COVID and all that, but they've hosted a number of virtual events and training opportunities as well. All right, so any questions about the cores and the different services that they provide before I move along? Great, okay. So here we have our Community Partnership Council slide, formerly known as the Community Advisory Board, or our CAB. And this is led by George. He had the opportunity to meet earlier. He serves as the chair and our community coordinator. And this group is formed by prominent members and leaders of the DC HIV community and representatives from different CBOs across DC. And the CPC is truly considered one of the hallmarks of the DC CFAR and engage in different stages. And here we have an extensive list of how the CPC participates with the DC CFAR. And I will call out, of course, that our CPC members serve as reviewers for our pilot award applications. And they also participate in pilot awards consultation calls. And so they're very engaged and want to serve as a resource as well throughout this process. So before I move along, George, I'm not sure if you're still on the call, but if you want to jump in and say anything else.
No, I think you said it very well. When you're writing your application, please make sure that you put language in there that the community can understand, and particularly around basic science and laboratory work, how it will change the community and the lives of people living with HIV. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Yes. All right. Any questions around the CPC or anything else before I move forward with our overview of the Research Awards program? All right. So I'm going to start off describing our traditional pilot award program. So this program, my apologies, just want to pull this down. Okay. So this program, the aim for it is to provide pilot funds on a competitive basis to investigators focused on HIV and to assist them in the development of their follow-up NIH-funded research grants and such. And so the focus of it, of course, is HIV and those different fields. Thank you for the time, Vivian. We release 2 RFAs per year, one during the spring, which is the one that's coming up now, and we released one during the fall. And these awards we award up to $50K. And in terms of the eligibility, we award these funds to faculties at our 9 participating institutions, and those are the ones who are eligible to apply as PIs for these programs. And again, these funds are provided to support early stage and new transitioning investigators as well. All right. And as I mentioned before, these applications are reviewed by a CPC member, but also by 3 peer reviewers. As you can see here, the RFA for the spring cycle will be released on Monday. We aim to release it on Monday. A pre-submission form will be required to submit that full application. We also give special consideration for applications that focuses on the different areas of our scientific working groups and scientific interest groups. And one other item that I was going to mention is that, as you all saw, the different large NIH-funded cohorts that we work with, so the MAC-WISE and DC cohort, we encourage applications to work with those groups. And for this cycle, we are actually offering a new option of a co-sponsorship with the DC cohort. And there's actually going to be an informational session about the DC cohort and that opportunity on the 31st at noon. And we can make sure to share the link as well for you all to join. Any additions that the core directors would like to chime in and add into the traditional pilot awards programs, or any questions?
So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So here you said a special consideration will be given to application with some focus area or SIG. So that SIG is will change every year, or you have a constant interest, or I mean in specific area.
Right. No, so these groups remain constant unless there's some sort of change, and we'll make sure to announce that. But our current scientific interest groups, again, I'll just list them off just for reference. That's the Latinx group, HIV cure, women, global drug user health, aging and comorbidities, and hopefully I'm not missing, oh, and sexual and gender minorities as well. So yes, these and our working groups then would be our ending the HIV epidemic and HIV cure. So they're constant, and it's not just that these groups change on a yearly basis. They could change from time to time, but we'll make sure to announce that to the broader group, if that makes sense.
Cool, thank you.
Larissa.
Hey, thank you. Would HIV related malignancies be considered out of scope?
Definitely.
No, it's in scope. And okay. Sylvia, were you gonna add something else?
No, I was saying it's definitely part of what you can be applying for.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. And actually falls with our aging and comorbidities group as well. I'm sure that they're working in malignancies. I'm not as involved with that group, but I'm sure there's a space for that there. So we can make sure to connect interested applicants with that group as well.
And what is the group? Sorry?
Aging and comorbidities.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. So here we have just a list of our most recent pilot award recipients. Again, these are also included in our website, and also our recent award recipients from folks that are new to HIV. And so then now I'll turn it over to the Transitioning Investigator Awards Program. And this one, we're just reintroducing again. I believe our last cycle was in 2019. So we're reintroducing this opportunity. This program aims to provide 2-year pilot fundings on a competitive and an invitation basis. And these are, again, to more senior faculty and established investigators. So what that means, those folks that have served as PIs for non-HIV AIDS related R01s, NIH R01s or equivalent awards. And of course, the same eligibility criteria of faculty investigators that are part of our 9 participating institutions apply. The funds are up to 100K, and the same processes follow that. These applications are reviewed by 3 peer reviewers and 1 CPC member. So in terms of the application process, it's a bit different than from the traditional pilot. We released the call for concepts on the 23rd of this month. And the ask is for applicants to submit a 1-page concept sheet, which will then be reviewed by our developmental core. We have here the instructions of what's included in the concept sheets. These are due by February 13th. And so once the core reviews these concept sheets and identify applicants, we will share the instructions for the full applications, and which will be due on April 19th. So just opening it up again for our core directors in case you have any other additions or any questions from the group. Okay. And I believe this is my last slide, just showing our previous Transitioning Investigator Award recipients. And this is my last slide. Questions? and our contact information. So I'm going to pull down my slides just so we can see each other and make sure I think we're a good time, and just allow for any questions.
So I just want to clarify my understanding. The 9 participating DCFAR institutions were the ones that I think you listed on your second or third slide.
Right.
So I'm assuming, because University of Maryland, of course, I know that we're not a part of the CFAR, so that means I can't apply as a PI, right? Just clarifying that.
Yes, you wouldn't be able to apply as a PI, but be able to collaborate with investigators from our institutions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll just jump in on that one. We do have some of our faculty, even I know for GW, who collaborate with University of Maryland. Donald Conserve does that quite a bit, and he actually shares students with individuals from University of Maryland. So it is possible to do this.
Thank you.
I just wanted to jump in with one comment, probably a very important one, is to remember that these are pilot awards, essentially feasibility studies, that we're not expecting you to be, aiming to have 17 objectives. And we also, I have to say too, sometimes have to remind our reviewers, which we use outside reviewers, outside of our CFAR. We have a good cadre of colleagues from the other CFARs. Everyone is involved heavily with HIV research, but this is a small award when you think about it. And the main process, it's mainly there to let you get some data to be able to apply for other NIH awards. And that's the purpose of it. So one of the biggest negatives or weaknesses that we see are that people are trying to take on too much with what is available. The maximum amount is $50,000, but really just, I would like you just to keep thinking about the size of a feasibility study or a pilot project.
So Dr. Silver, follow your points, and from the application, how much preliminary data would you expect from applicant?
The preliminary data to support what your objectives are. It's very difficult to say this much data. What you are trying to do and that amount of data to support your aims.
Okay.
And also, I think it'll depend on if you're coming in new to HIV field. We wouldn't expect you to have data pertaining to HIV, for example. But if you are established, like one of our recent pilot awardees from Howard, he is expert in calcium signaling and cardiomyocytes. His main focus of research has been alcohol research. He had nothing with HIV, but he came up with a very convincing argument to look at the effects of antiretroviral therapies on the actual functioning of cardiomyocytes, and using his data from alcohol research to support that idea. And he got funded on the first try.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And I guess I also want to say that we are here to assist. We realize that being early stage investigators, this may be new to you, grants management, grantsmanship. So please don't hesitate to call on us if we can answer any questions. As I said, one of the main things that we see are usually people are trying to take on too much. And you only have 1 year for this as well. So that's why keep it to what you need to do.
Is there no cost extension? Although you mentioned this just 1 year period.
Yeah, we usually will give one no cost extension. Not always, but we would like to see these finished within the time period.
Got it.
The ideal situation is that you're able to generate enough data from this 1 year to be able to apply and be competitive for an NIH grant. But we also realize that regulatory boards take a little bit of time. If you're 6 months trying to get an IRB approved, well, we know you're not going to, that's 6 months of time that you're not able to work on the project. So we take it's a case by case scenario.
And also some development of some protocol may also take time, especially in GW.
So I had a quick question. So I'm new to DCC4. I've joined in the last couple of weeks, I think. But I see, so I'm in the behavioral health field, and I see that there's a core that targets behavioral health, and I see that they offer some sort of like mentoring and consultation. How do I get involved in that process? Is it just simply sending an email, or how does that work?
Sure. So we have a core services form available in our website, and you'll have the opportunity to share a bit more details of what you're looking for, and we'll be able to connect you with the core as well.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And Kendall, I'm very happy that you mentioned that, because the director of our SBS core has been wanting to make more inroads with Howard University. So I've been trying to set up with social work and our MPH program connections there. So absolutely, we could even have the SBS core come over maybe for a mix or something like that at Howard, so you can get to know the people there. Would that
Absolutely.
sound like something you'd want to? Would you and other people in your college want that?
Yes, yeah, I'll
Okay.
speak for the college and I'll ask for permission later. But
Okay.
yes, that
Well,
sounds interesting.
I will we'll talk offline and start setting that up. All right. Thank you.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
So please, everyone, remember that our main reason for being a CFAR is to expand the amount of HIV research that occurs in our area, in the DC area. And that is one of our major goals, and also to mentor people to be able, early stage investigators and transitioning senior investigators, that mentor them into making sure and giving them every possible positive to accomplish funding at NIH. And as you all know, that's a very iffy kind of thing. But that's our main reason for being, is to expand the amount of HIV research in the District of Columbia, in the metropolitan, well, I would say the metropolitan area. But also, if you are involved with some international research and have some inroads into some other countries, if you are applying for one of our awards, you must show how it can be applicable to the DC population. All right, so that's a very important thing. And as well, as George mentioned, also in the application, in the award application, when you apply, you will be asked to give a lay summary of what you are proposing. And that is very important in that section, as George said, to make sure so that the community member who reads your proposal and gives a score to us will be able to understand what you're trying to do. Okay.
Thank you, Sylvia. Okay, now we have a few minutes left. Just wanted to check, Kim, Tony, any other additional insights or details you wanted to share?
Oh, only that, as Sylvia had mentioned, that really our primary purpose is to help make sure that we're preparing the next generation of HIV researchers. So any way that we can be supportive, whether your background is clinical, basic science, epidemiological, behavioral. We certainly have colleagues, not only within our ranks, but at each of our institutions that are certainly willing to be supportive.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. It's exactly right. We're here to help in whatever way we can.
Okay, so any last questions, or should we close off our Friday meeting a bit on the earlier side? So before I close off, just wanted to again reiterate that what all of our core directors mentioned, we are available. If you have any additional questions, please reach out. Vivian, I'll turn it over to you. Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you. I just added in the chat box the survey link for this session. So please, when you have a moment, if you could kindly share any feedback that you may have about the session, we'd be grateful. Also, George, thank you for adding your contact to the chat box. I'll be following up as well with additional information in the coming days. So please be on the lookout for that. But thank you all for joining.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.